Well, good day, everyone. Welcome inside the Ark. This is your friend, Mr. Fitz, where we help God's people stay on God's path toward God's purpose. And to do that, we help you become aligned, renewed, and centered in God's truth. So today I want to share a little bit more of the Project You teaching that I have been developing for quite some time. Today I want to talk about faith and how foundational faith is to our life. I believe that there are 5 segments to personal life. 5 segments, I believe, are our faith, which deals with a lot with our mindset, our health, our relationships, our finances, and our vocation. Our vocation basically surrounds, the chosen area of income, how we make money, whether that's through being entrepreneur or business or through employment. Now, faith, I think, it's the foundation of all the other areas, all the other segments. I call it the core 5, the faith, the health, the relationships, the finances, and the vocation. I call that the core 5. And I believe the faith, the root, I should say, of the core 5 is faith, because our entire life stands or falls on our faith, on what we believe. We are finite creatures. Understand this. We are finite creatures, and we're dependent on many things that are out of our control for our existence. And we exercise faith in these things every day. I go outside and maybe I'll get in my car if I have to go to work. I get in my car and I have faith that I'm going to get from point A to point B. Okay. Maybe if I go on a trip, and I happen to get on a plane, I exercise faith when I get on that plane that I'm going to get to my destination and also return safely. So, we exercise faith in things that are beyond our control every single day. And our faith means what we believe, how we view the world, and how we view our own lives. And our faith, this belief, is reflected in how we conduct ourselves relative to the other 4 areas. Our faith determines how we conduct ourselves in our relationships. What we believe determines how we handle our finances. What we believe determines how we view our own health. And what we believe also determines our chosen profession, our chosen vocation. So, and this driving belief is called your worldview. And your worldview is basically made up of how you respond to 4 basic questions. And I did kind of a mixture of this with Chuck Colson and Ravi Zacharias. Basically, your response to these 4 ideas and these 4 questions. 1, how do you respond to the idea of origin? Where do we come from? 2nd, how you respond to the question of meaning. Why are we here? 3rd, how we respond to the question of morality. What's wrong with the world? And finally, how we respond to the question of destiny. Where are we headed? So how we respond to these questions, how we answer these questions, is what basically forms our worldview. And for those of us who profess to be followers of Christ, I'm really careful now how I use the term Christian, because I'm finding that you have to scale that language barrier when you're saying Christian, because a lot of things and a lot of philosophies and a lot of teachings that say that they're Christian, they really aren't Christian when you look at the root of them. So I might use the term Christian, or you might hear me just say followers of Christ, or followers of the Messiah, or I might even just say followers of the way of Christ. But for those of us who follow Christ, and I'm not, again, necessarily just talking about those who go to church. There's really only one way for those who follow Christ to view the world as we know it. We were created by God, and we were created by God to bring him glory. We rebelled against that creator. We broke relationship, which has caused a myriad of problems in our world today. But our loving creator, despite our pride, has made it possible for us to be reconnected to him. He's made it possible. And his plan is to ultimately renew a relationship with all those who choose to take his path to do so. His plan is to renew this relationship with all who submit to his son and restore our relationship with him. Now, this is important because how we view the world determines how you live your life. Your worldview, how you view your worldview, I should say, determines how you live the rest of your life. It determines how you show up, as I said earlier, in relationships, and how you handle your finances, where your money goes. It determines how you view your own health and your vocation, your chosen profession, how you bring money into your house. So faith, has become like such a cliche nowadays, and everybody tosses the word around and they don't really grasp the meaning of the word faith. It's not enough to say that I have faith, because everybody has faith. Everybody has faith in something. But it's not enough to say that I have faith. Faith must be in something, or preferably in someone external to and greater than ourselves, because our faith is only as good as the object in which it is placed. So, for example, I can say, oh man, this is a great chair. I'm sitting in this chair, and I'm not a gamer, but I'm sitting in this gaming chair because it's, I was told about the support and so on and so forth. So I got this gaming chair, and I said, it's a pretty great chair. But the only way I exercise faith in the chair is to actually sit in it, to actually use it. Okay, that's the only way that I exercise faith. I mentioned earlier about the airplane. I can say, oh, that's a great airplane. It's wonderful. It could be brand spanking new out of the factory. Oh, that's a wonderful plane. It's nice. Look at how it flies and look at how it lands. But I don't exercise faith in the plane unless I actually get in the plane and allow it to take me somewhere. That's the only way we really exercise faith. We have to really act upon it. It's only as good as the object in which we place our faith. So in the example of inanimate objects that let us down, inanimate objects can let us down. Do we stop sitting in chairs? So if I'm sitting in this chair, and let's say the wheel falls, the wheel breaks off, and I fall out of the chair, do I stop sitting in chairs? If I go to a restaurant and I maybe have a bad experience, and I've been there before, I'm eating at restaurants, and later on that night, I felt really bad. Do I stop eating out? So do we stop sitting in chairs, or do we stop buying cars? In the example of, human beings will let us down. But when human beings let us down, do we isolate ourselves from all other people because somebody else let us down? Do we cut off all of our relationships because somebody let us down? In those examples in which we place faith, we see the limits based on the limitations of the object. So the airplane has limitations. The chair has limitations. The person that I put my faith in has limitations. They all can fail. At some point, they can all let us down. But when they fail, do we totally give them up? Do we, I mean, you might stop flying, but do we give up relationships? Do we give up going out to restaurants because we had a bad experience? So in those examples in which we place our faith and we see limits based on the limitations of the objects of faith. So then for our lives, the question is, in what do we place our faith? What do you put your faith in? Do you want to trust the unreliability of the inanimate or the fallibility of the human? We need a reliable, infallible, trustworthy foundation upon which to build our lives. The faith is the foundation of all the rest of our lives, the other four cores. We need the car that never breaks down. We need the chair that always supports. We need the person that never abandons. So what foundation are you building your life on? Are we building on sand or are we building on rock? And I believe that once we filter through all of the philosophical noise, because there's a whole lot of noise out here in our culture and in our world, and you have this one vying for our attention and these people over here trying to get our attention and get us to, everybody's marketing to us. And marketing is all about eliciting, an emotional response. And everybody wants to market to me, and everybody wants me. They want to pull on a heartstring and try to get me to follow this or to believe this or to see this. But once we filter through all of that noise and we establish a right spiritual understanding regarding faith, it provides the solid foundation to build a life of meaning, satisfaction, and fulfillment, which is what we all see. So I hope you enjoyed this little tidbit about faith. Please drop a comment or a question. Please like this video, share it by all means, and I will see you next time inside the Ark. Peace and blessings.